Nothing unsettles an enemy more than watching the one they mocked, doubted, and dismissed transform into the very figure they cannot look away from. That's you right now, chosen one. The glow you carry isn't just a glow. It's not a flicker. It's not a passing spark. It's a divine spotlight that has found you, whether you asked for it or not. And once divine light lands on someone, there is no hiding it, no dimming it, no erasing it. That light is burning the eyes of the very people who once pretended you were invisible. They squint, they shield, they whisper. But no matter what they do, they cannot look away, because you are no longer the overlooked shadow in the corner. You are the spectacle, the living testimony, the undeniable evidence that rejection does not end a story. It only rewrites it in a language they were never meant to read. Imagine this for a moment. Chosen one. The same ones who used to brush past you without a second glance. The same ones who acted like your presence carried no weight are now stumbling over themselves, desperate to stand close. Desperate to bask in a radiance they never believed you would own. Desperate to align themselves with a name they once laughed at. But make no mistake, they are not returning because they suddenly discovered your worth. They are returning because now they recognize they threw away gold. They recognize that they once held in their hands something eternal, something rare, something that would never be replicated. And they traded it for dust. And here's the truth, they will never say out loud. People fear losing people more than they fear losing opportunities. Opportunities can be replaced, but souls like yours are irreplaceable. And when the person they ignored becomes the one everyone else is whispering about, that fear morphs into obsession. And you, chosen one, have become the obsession they cannot silence. But before I go deeper, let me pause to honor this moment. Thank you for being here right now, because your presence in this moment isn't an accident, it's alignment. If this message has reached your ears, it's because the universe is confirming what your spirit has already been feeling. You are stepping into a time where your glow can no longer be denied. And don't forget to push this message forward. Like, subscribe, and share, because this light isn't meant to sit still. It's meant to move. It's meant to ripple through the world. You are not just a listener. You are not just a spectator. You are part of a force that carries light into the dark, and for that, I honor you deeply. Now let's lean in. Let's get into why your name has suddenly become fire on the tongues of those who once erased you. This attention isn't random. It isn't a coincidence. It isn't luck, and it isn't chance. It's the universe itself pulling back the curtain and putting you center stage. This is your season of exposure, chosen one. A season where your energy speaks louder than your words, where your presence is heavier than their opinions, where your glow outweighs their shallow approval. This is the moment where people realize too late that they should have valued what they had before the world took notice. And now, the very people who once treated you like an afterthought are showing up as fans, applauding, smiling, pretending they were always with you. They clap louder now, but here's the twist. Not all applause is pure. Some clap out of admiration, yes, because they see something undeniable in you. But others clap to mask their envy. They clap to cover their discomfort, clapping because silence would expose the jealousy eating them alive. They smile while secretly hoping you'll stumble under the spotlight, praying the weight of your shine will crush you so they can say, "See, I knew it wouldn't last." This is why your season of exposure is both a blessing and a trap. Your life right now is like a lighthouse blazing in the dark. You didn't turn that light on to impress anyone. You didn't flip that switch to gain followers or win validation. You turned it on because it's who you are. It's what you were created to be. But let me remind you, lighthouses don't just attract ships searching for safe harbor. They also draw in ships that are lost, reckless, or even eager to crash themselves into the rocks. The same glow that guides is the same glow that exposes. The same light that saves sailors is the same light that invites pirates. And that is the paradox of being chosen. This is why you must be sharper than ever in this season. Some of the ones trying to circle back aren't returning to celebrate you. They aren't clapping because they love you. They are clapping because they want to test you, to drain you, to see if they still have access to you. Their interest isn't born out of genuine love. It's born out of loss. They lost access to your spirit, your generosity, your vision, your time. And now that you're shining without them, that loss is haunting them. When they look at you, the realization cuts deep. You never needed them to shine. You never needed their approval, their applause, their validation. You were the light all along, and now that truth stabs them like a dagger in the chest. And here's the irony. When you were near, when they had easy access to you, they couldn't see your value. It was too close, too familiar. They treated you as common because you were accessible. But now, from a distance, suddenly that glow looks priceless. Suddenly they scramble, desperate to slip back in before someone else claims the space they abandoned. They don't miss you. They miss the benefits of you. They don't crave your essence. They crave the reflection your presence gave them. But here's the beauty. They can't rewrite what's already been written. They can't erase the absence in which you blossomed. You leveled up in their silence. You expanded in their absence. You became what they never thought you would become. And your success has become the sharpest revenge. Not because you planned it, not because you plotted it, but because you lived it. Chosen one, this is what happens when you keep walking. This is what happens when you refuse to fold. You become living proof that rejection does not destroy the chosen. It refines them. You become the evidence that their dismissal did not bury you. It planted you. And now the bloom is so undeniable that even your enemies are forced to admire it. What you're feeling right now is something I call delayed recognition. The world is finally catching up to the truth of who you've always been. But here's the thing about delayed recognition. It always drags the past with it. People come back, not because they've changed, but because they don't want to look like the villain in the story of your rise. They'll rewrite the narrative, spin it, twist it, convince themselves and others that they always believed in you. But don't forget, the same mouths cheering your name now were silent when you needed them. The same hands reaching for you now were the ones that let you fall. The same eyes that can't look away now once refused to truly see you. And you cannot afford to ignore that just because they suddenly remember you. This isn't about bitterness. It's about boundaries. The journey of the chosen is not about collecting familiar faces. It's about protecting your sacred space. Because not everyone clapping today would have supported you in the climb. And that is why this season is both proof and a test. Proof that your energy is undeniable. Proof that your light is uncontainable. But also a test. Will you trade your peace for nostalgia? Will you let the past sit at the table you built with your sweat and your tears? Will you forget that some people only want to be near you now because your name has become currency? Because standing beside you makes them feel valuable again. But hear me clearly. You are not the currency. You are the prize. You are the treasure. You are the glow, not them. While the world whispers your name, while the crowd circles, while some hands clap in admiration and others in envy, stay grounded, stay rooted, stay untouchable. Because those truly meant for you will never need convincing. They will never need to be reminded of your worth. They will see it instantly. They will honor it naturally. And the ones trying to sneak back in, they will have to watch you from the outside, because your light is no longer for sale. So understand this, chosen one. What you have experienced so far was only the spark. The fire is just beginning. The story unfolding in front of you is not about applause, not about revenge. It's about destiny. This is God, the universe, the divine, setting you on display as living proof of what resilience, alignment, and divine timing can do. And if you're ready to claim your spotlight and guard it like the sacred flame it is, drop a 777 in the comments. Bless this mission with your energy, because your presence fuels this movement of light. And now, let's peel back the layers, piece by piece, and step even deeper into why your name is setting the atmosphere on fire. Because Chosen One, what comes next will not only confirm everything you felt, it will awaken everything you were born to be. That's why this attention is both a blessing and a trap. Your life right now is like a lighthouse blazing in the dark, a flame fixed against the chaos of storms, a beam that cannot be hidden no matter how much the night wishes it could swallow you whole. And let's make this clear. You didn't turn that light on to impress anyone. You didn't ignite yourself just to prove a point. You didn't carry this fire just to say, "Look at me." You turned it on because it's who you are. It's what you were called to be. Light is your assignment. Radiance is your identity. Illumination is your destiny. And when light is what you were created to carry, hiding is no longer an option. But here's the paradox. Lighthouses don't just attract ships searching for safe harbor. They don't just draw the weary who are ready to dock in peace. They also pull in ships that are lost, reckless, unstable, and in some cases, destructive. Some approach the light with gratitude, giving thanks that it exists. Others approach with desperation, hoping to take advantage of it. And some approach with malice, carrying intentions of collision, sabotage, or theft. The same glow that saves is the same glow that exposes you. The same brilliance that makes you a guide also makes you a target. Because for every soul who sees your light as salvation, there will be another who sees it as a challenge. And for every heart that draws strength from your shine, there will be another that whispers, "If only I could snuff that out." This is why, Chosen One, you must be sharper than ever in this season. You cannot afford to let flattery blur your discernment. You cannot afford to let applause blind your vision. You cannot afford to assume that every smile is genuine. Because some of the ones trying to circle back into your life right now aren't returning to celebrate you. They're returning to test you. They're coming to see if you still have the same weaknesses, if you can still be manipulated, if you will still lower yourself to meet them where they left you. They're coming to drain you, to siphon off the energy they no longer have access to. They're coming to see if they can still control what they once mishandled. Understand this. Their interest in you is not rooted in love. It's born out of loss. They lost access to your spirit, and that loss torments them. They lost access to your generosity, and now they realize how much it cost them. They lost access to your vision, and now they are left wandering without a compass. And when they look at you now, radiant, rising, unapologetic, the realization cuts deep. The wound is fresh every time they remember you never needed them to shine. You never needed their permission to rise. You never needed their validation to grow. That truth, that realization, is the dagger twisting in their chest right now. And isn't it interesting? When you were near, when you were accessible, when you were giving freely, they couldn't see your value. It was too close, too familiar. They were blinded by their own entitlement. They mistook proximity for permanence, as if your presence was something they could take for granted forever. But now they're standing outside the gates, no longer insiders, no longer holders of keys, and suddenly the glow they once overlooked feels priceless. Suddenly what they dismissed has become the very thing they crave. And so they scramble, desperate to slip back in before someone else takes the place they abandoned, before someone else receives the treasure they neglected. But here's the beauty. They can't rewrite what's already been written. They cannot undo the chapter where they chose absence over loyalty. They cannot erase the part of your story where you built without them. They cannot claim the ground they forfeited when they walked away. Because while they were gone, something happened. You leveled up. You evolved. You expanded. You became what they never thought you would become. You blossomed in their silence. You grew in their doubt. You thrived in their absence. And now, whether they admit it or not, they are forced to watch from the sidelines as the seed they buried transforms into a tree they can no longer climb. And this, chosen one, is the sharpest revenge. Not because you plotted it, not because you schemed for it, not because you sat up at night thinking, one day they'll regret it. Number your revenge is sharpest because it is unintentional. It is pure. It is natural. It is the kind of revenge that flows from authenticity. The revenge of simply living, of simply becoming, of simply continuing to walk when they thought you would fall. And there is no greater consequence for those who underestimated you than having to witness your ascension. To witness the very person they dismissed become the living embodiment of everything they swore you would never be. This is what happens when the chosen one keeps walking. This is what happens when you refuse to fold under the weight of rejection, when you refuse to collapse under the silence of abandonment, when you refuse to let betrayal be the period at the end of your sentence. You become living proof that rejection didn't break you. It built you. You become the testimony that their absence was never your downfall. It was your rebirth. You become the evidence that what they tried to bury was never meant to rot. It was meant to rise. So let them watch, chosen one. Let them sit at the shore and gaze at the lighthouse they once ignored. Let them feel the ache of realizing they underestimated you. Because your glow is not theirs to manage. Your shine is not theirs to dim. Your destiny is not theirs to write. What was once overlooked is now undeniable. And no amount of scrambling, no amount of returning, no amount of pretending will erase the fact that you became everything they thought you could never be. What you're feeling now, chosen one, is something I call delayed recognition. The world is finally catching up to the truth of who you've always been. But delayed recognition always drags the past with it. People return, not because they've changed, but because they want proximity to your shine, because they don't want to look like the villain in the story of your rise. They'll spin it, twist it, and try to convince you that they always believed in you. But don't forget, the same mouths cheering your name now were silent when you needed them. The same hands reaching for you now were the ones that let you fall. The same eyes watching you now once refused to truly see you. You can't ignore that just because they suddenly remember you. This isn't about bitterness, it's about boundaries. Too often, chosen one, people mistake your silence for resentment, when in truth, it is simply wisdom. You have learned that not every soul who smiles is a friend, and not every hand reaching out is offering love. Your journey has taught you that discernment is not cruelty, it is clarity. That clarity is your shield now, and it protects the garden you've been cultivating inside your spirit. Because this path isn't about collecting familiar faces or dragging old chapters into new seasons. It's about protecting your space, honoring the sanctuary that is your energy, and remembering that not everyone who claps for you today would have supported you during the climb. That's the reality of it. When you were unseen, overlooked, and underestimated, many of these same people kept their distance. They were not there when you were sowing seeds in barren soil, watering them with tears and faith, waiting for something to grow. They weren't present when you stood in the wilderness, questioning your worth, wrestling with shadows, and still choosing to walk forward. And now, as the fruit of your persistence begins to show, as your glow becomes undeniable, they circle back, not out of love, but out of convenience. They want to sit at the table you bled to build, even though they never brought a single brick, never carried a single load, never wiped your sweat in the heat of your labor. This season is both proof and a test. Proof that your energy is working, proof that your presence is undeniable, proof that the light you carry cannot be dimmed, no matter how many tried to ignore it. But also a test. Will you protect what you've built? Will you guard the sanctuary of your soul? Or will you trade your peace for nostalgia? Will you allow the familiar faces of your past to masquerade as loyal ones in your present? Will you let them re-enter, simply because their names are familiar, forgetting that some of them only want to be near you now because your name has become currency? Because standing beside you makes them feel valuable again, even though they never valued you when it mattered. Chosen one, hear me clearly. Your journey has elevated you into a place where access is not a right, it is a privilege. And not everyone can afford the cost of admission anymore. That cost is integrity. That cost is loyalty. That cost is consistency. Anyone who does not bring those things cannot sit at your table, no matter how much history you share. The old you might have let them in. The healed you cannot. Never forget, you are the prize. You are the treasure. You are the glow, not them. You are not chasing acceptance anymore. You are embodying it. You are not knocking on doors anymore. You are building your own. You are not seeking validation anymore. You are radiating it. That's why they're drawn to you now. Not because they've suddenly woken up to your worth, but because they've realized the world has. So while the world whispers your name, while the crowd circles, while some hands clap in admiration and others in envy, stay grounded, stay rooted. Don't let the noise pull you away from your truth, because those who are truly meant for you will never need convincing. They will never need a resume of your accomplishments to see your value. They will never require proof of your glow. They will recognize it instantly, because their spirit resonates with yours. And the ones trying to sneak back in, the ones whose hands are clapping but whose hearts are calculating, they will have to watch you from the outside. They will see the glow, but they won't be allowed to drain it. They will feel the warmth, but they won't be permitted to consume it. Because your light is no longer for sale. Your peace is not negotiable. Your boundaries are not suggestions. Understand this, chosen one. Sometimes the greatest act of love for yourself is the act of exclusion. Not everyone belongs on the journey to the top. Not everyone deserves a seat at the celebration. Some were meant to play their role in your past, but your future cannot hold their weight. Release them, bless them from a distance, and continue walking, knowing that your glow is divinely protected, and no counterfeit connection will ever dim it again. So hear me clearly, chosen one. What you've experienced so far was only the spark, the faint flicker that teased at the true magnitude of what is coming. The fire has only just begun, and it is not a small flame. It is a blaze that will not be contained, a wildfire of destiny that cannot be smothered by doubt, envy, or the whispers of those who once ignored you. The story that is unfolding in front of you is not simply about applause or validation, and it's certainly not about revenge. It is about something infinitely greater. It is about divine orchestration, the unfolding of a plan that was written into the very blueprint of your soul before you even stepped into this body. You are not standing in the light by accident. You are being positioned by something higher, something sacred, something that will use your life as a living message to everyone watching. That purpose cannot be denied, and divine timing cannot be stopped. And so I tell you now, if you are truly ready, not just casually curious, not just temporarily inspired, but truly ready to step fully into this season, where your light can no longer be dimmed. Then stand boldly in agreement with what heaven is declaring over you. Drop a 777 in the comments, not as a ritual, but as a declaration, as a seal upon your spirit that you are aligned with this mission. Bless this journey with your energy, because every word you release in faith adds fuel to this movement of light. Your support doesn't just build numbers, it builds momentum, it builds resonance, it builds a current of energy that travels through the unseen realms and awakens others who are searching for the same truth. You are not here just to watch passively. You are here to activate, to amplify, to add your flame to this fire so that it becomes an inferno that spreads beyond you and me, into the collective, into the very fabric of this moment in history. Now let us peel back the layers, piece by piece. Let us strip away the illusions and expose the truth of why your name carries the weight it does. Why your presence alters the atmosphere before you even speak. Because, chosen one, you were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to walk quietly through life unnoticed. The unease people feel when you enter the room, the sudden shift in their tone, the way eyes linger on you longer than they do on others. That is not imagination. It is confirmation. It is the evidence that your very essence disturbs the slumber of those who are still asleep. And when destiny calls, it doesn't just tap politely at the door. It shakes the ground beneath your feet until you have no choice but to rise. And what comes next, beloved, is not simply confirmation of what you've always suspected. It will not just whisper back to you that your intuition was right. Number. What is coming is the great unveiling, the full awakening, the undeniable proof that everything you endured, every betrayal, every season of loneliness, every night where you questioned your own worth, was the furnace that forged you for this exact season. What comes next will not only validate your faith, it will activate your fullness. It will awaken everything you were born to be, everything you were told to hide, everything the world tried to bury under labels, judgments, and fear. This is not about applause anymore. It is about ascension. This is not about who claps for you. It is about who bows to the truth that can no longer be denied. So brace yourself, chosen one. The stage is no longer being built. It is already set. The audience is not being gathered. It is already watching. And the flame within you is not waiting for permission. It is ready to consume every shadow that thought it could hold you back. This is destiny's hour, and you, chosen one, are the vessel. Step forward, for the world has been waiting not just for someone. They have been waiting for you.